You've cut carbs. You've counted every calorie. You've dragged yourself to the gym at 5 a.m. for 3 months straight, and the scale hasn't budged. Meanwhile, your coworker eats pizza at lunch and looks like a fitness model. What's broken? The answer isn't your willpower. It's happening inside your cells right now, and most people have no idea it's even there. I'm going to show you the 3 biological mechanisms that literally lock fat inside your body when you have insulin resistance, and why every diet you've tried has been fighting the wrong battle. Over 70 million Americans have insulin resistance right now, according to CDC estimates. And most won't know until they're already pre-diabetic. Stick with me for the next 8 minutes, because the third mechanism I'm covering is the one your doctor probably didn't mention. And it's the reason that stubborn belly fat won't go away no matter what you do. First, let's get one thing straight. Insulin isn't the enemy. It's a hormone your pancreas makes every time you eat, and its job is simple. Think of it as the key that unlocks your cells. So glucose, which is just sugar from your food, can get inside and fuel your body. When this system works, you eat, insulin unlocks the door, glucose goes in, you get energy. Clean and efficient, but when you develop insulin resistance, those locks get jammed. The keys still fit, but they can't turn anymore. So your pancreas panics and makes more keys, more insulin flooding your bloodstream, trying to force the doors open. And here's where your weight loss nightmare actually begins. Mechanism 1. Your liver becomes a fat factory on overdrive. When your cells refuse to let glucose in, it doesn't just disappear. It's still in your blood, and high blood sugar is dangerous. So your liver steps in to clean it up. But here's the problem. Your liver can only store so much glucose as glycogen, which is basically your body's backup battery. Once those tanks are full, the liver has one option left: convert that extra glucose into fat. A process called de novo lipogenesis, which literally means making new fat. A 2018 study published in Cell Metabolism found that people with insulin resistance produce up to 5 times more liver fat than metabolically healthy people eating the exact same diet. So you're not eating more. You're just storing everything differently. Your body is treating every meal like a survival threat and locking it away as fat, especially around your abdomen, because that's where your liver dumps it first. And that fat, it makes the insulin resistance worse, like creating a vicious cycle. Now, before I explain the second mechanism, I need you to understand why this is happening to you and not everyone else, because this is where people get stuck blaming themselves. Genetics load the gun, but lifestyle pulls the trigger. If you have a family history of diabetes, you're more vulnerable. But the real accelerants are things like chronic stress, lack of sleep, ultra-processed foods, and sitting for 10 hours a day. Now, a 2020 study in The Lancet found that sleep deprivation for just 4 nights can reduce insulin sensitivity by up to 30%. Your body isn't broken, it's reacting. And that brings us to the second lock. Mechanism 2. Your muscle cells refuse to burn fat. They're stuck burning sugar they can't even access. Normally, your muscles are metabolic chameleons. After a meal, they burn glucose. And between meals or during exercise, they switch to burning fat. And this is called metabolic flexibility. But insulin resistance breaks that switch. Your muscles get locked into trying to use glucose, but because the insulin keys don't work, the glucose can't get in. So they're starving in the middle of plenty. And here's the kicker. Now, even though fat is right there, available in your bloodstream and stored all over your body, your muscles can't flip the switch to burn it. They're metabolically stuck. Research from the Joslin Diabetes Center at Harvard found that people with insulin resistance have impaired fat oxidation. Their muscles burn 40% less fat during exercise compared to healthy individuals. So when you work out, you're exhausted, you're hungry, and you haven't actually tapped into your fat stores. You've just depleted what little glucose made it through and triggered even more cravings. This is why so many people say, like, I exercise all the time and I can't lose a pound. You're not lazy. Your metabolism is locked. Remember that third mechanism I mentioned at the start, the one your doctor probably skipped? This is where it gets really important, because this one controls whether you're hungry all the time, and it's the hidden reason willpower has nothing to do with it. Let's close that loop. Mechanism 3. Insulin itself is a fat storage hormone, and when it's constantly high, fat burning is physically impossible. Here's what most people don't realize. Insulin doesn't just unlock cells. It also directly tells your body to stop burning fat and start storing it. It does this by blocking an enzyme called hormone-sensitive lipase, which is responsible for breaking down stored fat into usable energy. So every time you eat, especially refined carbs or sugar, your insulin spikes. And for the next 3 to 5 hours, your body is in lockdown mode. Store fat, don't burn it. Now imagine you're eating every 3 hours, like most diet advice says, breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner. You're never in fat burning mode ever. And if you have insulin resistance, your baseline insulin is already 2 to 3 times higher than normal, even when you're fasting. According to a 2019 study in diabetes care, people with insulin resistance maintain fasting insulin levels above 15 microunits per milliliter, compared to under 5 in healthy individuals. That means your body is in permanent storage mode, even while you sleep. So this is the trap. It's not that you're eating too much, it's that your hormones won't let you access the fuel you've already stored. If this is landing for you, if you've been told for years that you just need more discipline, drop a comment and tell me how long you've been fighting this. I read every single one, and your story matters. And hit that like button if you want me to make a follow-up video on the 3 evening habits that actually reverse insulin resistance. Not another generic eat less, move more lecture. So what do you actually do about this? I'm not going to sell you a miracle supplement or a restrictive diet because the research is clear. Insulin resistance is reversible for most people, but it requires a different approach than standard weight loss advice. 3 evidence-based strategies. 1, prioritize protein and fiber at every meal. These slow digestion and prevent insulin spikes. A 2021 study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that high-protein breakfasts reduced post-meal insulin response by 35%. 2, create longer gaps between meals. You need to give insulin time to drop so fat burning can start. Even extending your overnight fast from 10 to 14 hours can improve insulin sensitivity within 2 weeks per research from the Salk Institute. 3, move after meals, even for 10 minutes. Walking after eating activates glucose transporters in your muscles that don't need insulin to work. You're literally bypassing the broken lock. These aren't hacks. They're recalibrating the system. Now, quick but important note, this video is educational, not medical advice. If you're dealing with unexplained weight gain, fatigue, or other symptoms, you need to see a healthcare provider. Ideally one who will test your fasting insulin and glucose, not just wait until you're diabetic. Real sources for everything I've covered today are linked in the description if you want to dig deeper. Let's recap what your body is actually doing when you can't lose weight. 1, your liver is converting glucose into fat at 5 times the normal rate and dumping it around your organs. 2, your muscles are stuck trying to burn glucose they can't access, so they never switch to burning fat, even during exercise. 3, high insulin levels are blocking the enzyme that breaks down fat, keeping you in permanent storage mode. So when you stepped on that scale at the beginning of this video and felt like a failure, you weren't failing. Your cells were locked, and no amount of willpower was going to force them open without addressing the insulin resistance underneath. Now you know what's actually happening, and that changes everything. If you found this helpful, subscribe, because next week I'm breaking down the 5 foods that spike insulin the most, and 3 of them are marketed as healthy. And drop a comment. How many diets have you tried before you learned about insulin resistance? And I want to hear your number. No judgment, just data. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.